Connyz Corner presents the Black Family Empowerment Hub with me, Connyz, from Africa to the Western world. Cultural integration or institutional racism. Raising awareness. Empowering families. Promoting inclusion and well-being. Creating transformational change through dialogue. Be aware, be inspired, and be empowered.
Hello and welcome back to Connyz Corner. Coming up on today's episode, the why question with me, Connyz. On this segment and subsequent chapters, we are going to explore your questions and hopefully clarify any points you may raise. Today's question, and most importantly, our first question, comes from Sandra. Sandra is one of our YouTube fans. Sandra wants to know, Conny, I have watched your introductory video. As a parent who has struggled with migration and parenting issues, I do agree that family is important. Yet, migration and cultural issues do add to the complexity of parenting. I commend you for setting up such a fantastic platform to raise awareness and to empower families. However, I am a little curious. Why the Black Family Empowerment Hub? Why the focus on Black families rather than all families? Wow, that is a very detailed question and very, very insightful. First of all, I would like to acknowledge your stance on the importance of family and to extend my sincere gratitude for your compliment, Sandra. Also, I must admit that I like your choice of words, especially the word curiosity, because I'm equally a very curious person myself. From my perspective, being curious seems to suggest that you are coming with an open mind. You are coming from a place of awareness of your own personal values and beliefs, and equally willing or ready to suspend your presuppositions, assumptions, and worldviews in order to consider a different perspective. And this is a very important skill because we live in a multicultural world where mature people are keen to understand, accept, reposition, and coexist with people with different perspectives. Now, back to your question, Sandra. Why the Black Family Empowerment Hub? First of all, as the founder and managing director of an established child contact and family support charity, Voice of the Child, providing preventative and early intervention services for children and families across the southeast of England, what I know for sure is that for any project to gain credibility, one has to initially demonstrate that there is significant evidence to justify a need. Then the anticipated outcomes to be achieved, the delivery and implementation strategy, and the monitoring and evaluation processes. Also, drawing from my academic and professional experience as a child, family and adoption social worker with psychotherapeutic and research interests, I have worked with a diverse range of families in the UK. Over the years, I have also developed more research knowledge about specific areas where there are ongoing or established unhelpful patterns within different ethnic groups across the UK and other Western societies, and where there are gaps in the delivery of preventative or early intervention family support services. It is a documented fact that migration, whether forced migration or voluntary migration, upsets the homeostatic balance of every family. There is no doubt that the implications are far-reaching for every child and family across ethnic groups and generations. However, statistical evidence across the UK, America, and other Western societies portray a significantly bleak picture for Black individuals and families of Afro descent in comparison to other groups. Evidence across the UK and most Eurocentric societies confirm that Black families stand a higher chance of being referred or involved with child protection services. There is a disproportionate overrepresentation of Black children in the care system, yet there is a limited scope of finding permanent adoptive or long-term families for these children. Hence, the children are often considered to be hard to place or unadoptable. There is equally a disproportionate overrepresentation of Black people in the criminal justice system and the mental health system. Broadly speaking, Black peoples are reported to underachieve academically in comparison to other groups across most Western academic establishments. So, what's the big question? What is going on? This is what has challenged my curiosity and provoked an insatiable quest for more knowledge. What's going on? Drawing from research and earlier explanations, focusing on areas relating to the impact of migration, for example, the low socioeconomic status of Black families, in basic terms, the implications of poverty, cultural differences, differing child rearing practices, the fragmentation of family support networks, isolation, and a mistrust of Eurocentric services. However, subsequent explanations highlight the impact of institutional racism, prejudice, discrimination, a lack of cultural competence and sensitivity on the part of professionals, establishments involved with Black families, as additional factors that contribute to the demise of these families. Personally, as a Black parent and a social works professional, I can relate to most of the key points raised. As you can see from the statistical information, there is a compelling need for programs that can reach out and provide appropriate preventative support services to improve outcomes for children, young people, and families from the Black community. Sandra, I hope this answers your question. Well, going back to the question, what's going on? I personally believe that the issues that continue to have a pervasive influence on Black families are generally co-created by both the wider ideological and structural barriers that operate in most Western societies and the individual Black families, communities, and Afro nations. It is absolutely crucial that we all take collective responsibility and work collaboratively to explore and address these issues as a human race. Integration is known to be a key process to the issues raised. However, effective integration is a bidirectional process that requires both the minority and dominant groups and systems to make gradual shifts towards understanding and accommodating each other. Transformational change is only possible through dialogue, the art of thinking together, and a commitment to address issues with transparency and authenticity. As Black people of African descent, individuals, couples, families, and communities, it is imperative that we wake up from slumber and be purposefully present in the moment to develop a deeper understanding of how we each contribute daily to the demise of our children, our families, our community, and our society. We need to develop a conscious awareness and understanding of our society, the world around us, and the challenges they present. We need to make a conscious effort to effectively integrate, to challenge our mindset and realign our thought processes to become more active participants and positive contributors in key issues that directly affect our families and generations to come. Then, and only then, can we influence policies, raise the Black profile, reposition our children, young people, families, community, and society for success, well-being, unity, and stability. If we, as part of a human race, cannot do this for ourselves, no one will do this for us, because no one else other than us has lived our experiences. As Eurocentric policymakers, establishments, professionals, transracial carers, adopters, policymakers, and members of the wider society, we must think broadly and introspectively about how our own history and culture has shaped our perspective of ourselves and others. We need to explore, identify, and challenge any unconscious, deep-seated biases that permeate our interactions with others. And most importantly, we need to assess how such nuances implicitly influence our understanding, decision-making processes, and wider structural arrangements in relation to other minority groups, particularly people of Afro descent. It is imperative that, coming from a Eurocentric base and operating in a multicultural world, we develop a culturally competent perspective that gives credibility to the lived experiences of others. One that conveys a sense of curiosity, inquiry, empathy, acceptance, and unconditional positive regard. Therefore, we need to understand, communicate with, and effectively interact with people across cultures through an awareness of our own cultural worldview, our attitude towards differences, our knowledge of different cultural practices and worldviews, and through an acquisition of cultural skills. Broadly speaking, adopting an approach that embraces inclusion and shared prosperity for all. Well, that was my humble opinion. And now, what do you think? Please go to www.connyzcorner.co.uk and see what you think. Our next segment will explore the how question with me, Conny. And until next time, be aware, be inspired, and be empowered.